Parole Furlough Right of convicted prisoners to temporary release. The Indian criminal justice system is based upon the reformative theory of criminal justice. The objective of reformative theory of criminal justice system is to reform criminals and to remix them in the mainstream of society. In order to achieve the said objective, the convicted prisoners are also provided right of temporary release termed as parole and furlough. Here the rights of parole and furlough are discussed with special reference to the Haryana Good Conduct Prisoners, Temporary Release, Act, 2022. In this act, convicted prisoners are provided with the right temporary release in terms of parole and furlough. A convicted prisoner may apply for release on parole or furlough as the occasion arises and subject to the provisions provided in the said act. Release of a convicted prisoner on parole. Parole release is categorized in 3 categories: 1. Custody parole, 2. Emergency parole, and 3. Regular parole. Release a convicted prisoner on regular parole. A convicted prisoner may be released on regular parole for a period of 10 weeks, 70 days, in a year, which can be availed in 2 parts. In case of delivery of female prisoner, the period of release is 6 months. A prisoner can avail this right only after completing 1 year of imprisonment after conviction. This restriction is not applicable in case of male prisoner aged 70 years or more and female prisoner aged 65 years or more. The prisoner may be granted regular parole for ploughing, sowing or harvesting or carrying on any other agricultural operation on his land or his father's undivided land actually in possession of the prisoner, or for any other sufficient cause. Release of a convicted prisoner on emergency parole. Emergency parole is granted in case a member of the convicted prisoner's family died or is in serious condition, or the convicted prisoner himself is in serious condition. Emergency parole can be availed by a prisoner at any time irrespective of period of sentence undergone. The period of emergency parole may extend to 4 weeks, 28 days, which may be availed in parts. Release of a convicted prisoner on custody parole. Custody parole is granted to hardcore convicted prisoners for attending funeral of his family members or marriages of his children or siblings at any time irrespective of period of imprisonment undergone. Custody parole is granted for 6 hours at once. Release of a convicted prisoner on furlough. Furlough means temporary release from custody of a convicted prisoner as an incentive on account of his good behavior and conduct. A prisoner can be released on furlough for 3 weeks, 21 days, once. Special provisions for temporary release of hardcore convicted prisoner. A hardcore convicted prisoner is not provided for regular parole or furlough, but special provisions has been made for such criminals as well, keeping the reformative theory in mind. A hardcore convicted prisoner is entitled for emergency or regular parole and furlough at par with convicted prisoner who has not been awarded with death penalty or life imprisonment till natural life and has completed 5 years of his sentence, including maximum 2 years under trial period, without committing any major jail offense or any cognizable offense during the last 5 years. Hardcore criminals who has been sentenced for imprisonment till natural life is entitled for emergency and regular parole on completion of 7 years of imprisonment after conviction. Report of District Magistrate or the Deputy Commissioner of Police or the Superintendent of Police. No convicted prisoner is entitled to be temporarily released on parole or furlough if, as per report of the District Magistrate or the Deputy Commissioner of Police or the Superintendent of Police or otherwise, such release is likely to endanger the security of state or the maintenance of public order or cause reasonable apprehension of breach of peace. Application for grant of parole or furlough. A prisoner can submit application for grant of parole or furlough either by himself or through an adult member of his family before the superintendent jail in Form A. The maximum time for processing an application for a regular parole or furlough by different authorities is as under. Superintendent jail 1 week. Deputy Commissioner of Police or Superintendent of Police 2 weeks. District Magistrate 2 weeks. Competent Authority 2 weeks. Provided that if the recommendation or report is not received in the stipulated time period, the competent authority may presume that there is nothing adverse against the prisoner and may decide the application accordingly. Recently, the case of release of Gurmeet Ram Rahim on parole or furlough has attracted the attention of public at large. Gurmeet Ram Rahim has taken the benefit of the rights of prisoners. The other prisoners can also take benefit of their rights. In case of denial of parole or furlough by the state government, the aggrieved prisoner may approach the Hobbieli High Court for his enforcement of his right to release temporarily on parole or furlough.